Я подключение сейчас передаю настройку. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, let's jump into some listener questions here. I think this will probably a lot of the stuff we've already talked about, but there's going to be some new stuff. So if you guys have access to Instagram or Facebook or both, I want you to jump on there now, your phone or whatever. I'm talking to our guest here, and I want you to pick the questions you want to field, and there's a lot for each of you on there. So I'll start us off. And also joining us, David Edelman with Mission First Tactical has jumped on the call with us, the video. Sponsors of the Talking Lead AK Korner for a couple of years now.
Which balloon is he behind?
David?
Marty made me mute. I had to mute myself, so I've been creeping. Been listening to you guys.
He's a fly on a wall. He's been a fly on a wall this whole time. Yeah. But they are responsible behind our, and for those watching the video, I'm going to hold it up now. Get all the shit off of it I got. Our Talking Lead gunsmith trays. David likes to call them dump trays. I call them gunsmith trays or armorer's trays for the Talking Lead AK Korner. We've given lots of these away this season, not just one per episode. We've given several away per episode. And we'll be giving another one away this episode. And David has an announcement for our finale. You've upped the ante a little bit. What are you guys doing?
So we're happy to offer a $100 gift card. And the reason we're doing that is that we have a lot of great product coming out in 22. So I would ask your listeners to hold the card, pay attention, and get it in there and get some good gear and kit.
There you go. And at one point in time, Mission First was doing some AK stuff. I think you're still doing the grips, aren't you?
We do a little bit, some legacy stuff from the beginning. I got a program manager that every week I got to hear him bring it up. So
well, you hear it from me every week too. I'm always badgering you about releasing more AK stuff. Man,
but, yeah, you and Andrew. It's like, oh my god. But we got a lot to do. So it's on the list. We're getting there, and
you're working. It's in the mail, right? It's in the mail. So what's the? Can you talk about the leather? Is that something you can talk about? The leather, or is that something we should hold? Should we hold that?
Well, thank you, Lefty, for breaking that. We are doing a series of leather hybrid holsters, and then that same process will be used on the armor dump trays.
Nice. Very nice. So for those who don't know, Mission First Tactical also has a very fine line of holsters. The Kydex, but now you're gonna do a hybrid now.
Yep. So we're trying to. The thought here is it's the best of both worlds. You get the retention and security of Kydex and the suppleness, feel and smell of the leather.
There's nothing like the smell of leather.
There's a lot of fun stuff. But there really isn't, man. I got to tell you.
Are you going to do
Everybody picks that holster up and smells it.
One of the special things about David's products at Mission First Tactical is that they have some magic method of embedding the ink and dye into the plastic. And we use his trays for machining, and the coolant that's used in machining is a notoriously good solvent, and it melts almost everything eventually. And we've been using David's stuff for over a year now, and it's looking like how we got it. So it's very cool if you're going to be around gun oil, that kind of thing. His stuff holds up really nicely, and all the lines are sharp. It's good looking kit that works.
And if you're using Seal 1 to clean your guns, then you don't have to worry about it because it's all green engineered cleaning solvents. So Seal 1 also sponsors the Talking Lead AK Korner.
How you doing? Dwight Suttle with Seal 1, here to talk about the proper use and application of Seal 1 CLP+. The first time you use Seal 1 CLP+, ideally I would start with a clean firearm. One, you see how easy our product will go on and cover the entire firearm and then wipe off. And then you'll also see that our product will remove more carbon that has been left behind from whatever you've been using. Now it takes about 3 cleanings. I like to say clean shoot, clean shoot, clean shoot, for the SEAL 1 to get in and fully penetrate the firearm and remove whatever else you've been using before. The SEAL 1 CLP Plus is safe on all metals, plastics, composites, wood, leather, you name it, it is safe on there. The SEAL 1 will not dry out. The SEAL 1 CLP Plus is a dry lubricant, so you'll want to put it on and wipe it off. You want to wipe off the entire firearm. SEAL 1 CLP Plus comes in a paste, a liquid, an aerosol, and pre-saturated bore patches that are bore-specific sizes. We call those SEAL skins. To use SEAL 1, it's very simple, and using SEAL 1 will reduce your cleaning time by over 50% from traditional cleaning methods. All carbon, copper, lead, plastic filing, and shotguns, nothing is sticking and adhering, so it all just gets wiped right off. So all you do is you field strip the firearm, you put it down, and you go piece by piece by piece with covering the entire firearm inside and out with the SEAL 1. The first time you're using it, I would leave it on for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then you come back and you wipe it all off. SEAL 1 CLP Plus is very simple. You do not want to overthink it. It is a dry lubricant and is meant to be used as such. So you'll put it on the entire firearm, inside and out, and then you wipe it off completely. That's all there is to it. SEAL 1 and done. Thank you.
And we're going to be giving away a SEAL 1 package too. So have you guys had a chance to look at the questions?
You know me.
All right, we'll start off with Marco. Marco, what pick one there and let's field it.
I don't have any of the Facebooks.
Oh, that's right.
The Instagram.
So this one is for Marco.
I don't have any of those interwebs.
Here's one for Marco. This is from Giddy Up. This is on Instagram. What was the one thing in your military training that was specifically put there to counter the enemy that turned out to be completely ridiculous? And we'll start off with Marco.
Gosh, I cannot recall any of that stuff. I mean, I guess the biggest surprise for us would have been maybe the pot shots that would take at us at the long distance and stuff, and I mean, you know, because you train on the doctrine by the Soviet doctrine, right? So at the time it was, you know, the frontal assaults with the tank and with the infantry being, you know, support and whatnot. But at the time when I was drafted, we already knew where we were going in, and most of our officers and NCOs who were involved in the training were veterans, and they knew at that time when I went in, the conflict was already going on for 5 years. So there was a body of knowledge that the Soviet military accumulated that was taught to the troops going over the border. So I can't, you know, I mean, we were drilled on just,
so nothing specifically comes to
nothing
mind.
that stands out that I can say
that was just complete
so
bullshit that they fed you with, and you're just like, that wasn't true.
No, I mean, it was, I mean, everybody knew it was dangerous. Everybody, I mean, this condition of being constantly on alert and being around the danger and stuff, you know, even where you're at the base where the constant rocket attacks would happen from nearby hills or whatnot. I mean, it just, nothing that I can really speak of that came out to be ridiculous.
Okay.
No.
Okay. What about you, Neil?
Kind of like Marco, nothing really sticks out aside from bad command policy. Things like, you know, PT belts will keep you alive on a base. You're like, no, it won't. You know, train how you fight when you go to the field in the rear. You know, you're doing the Vietnam 5 distance, taking the full security, but in Iraq, you go to a DFAC and you have to have a clear weapon. that old ingrained stuff was hard to get out of guys' heads back in the early aughts. But as for like doctrine, it changed. At least I saw it change enough between my Army career of my deployment 03 to 04 and 05 to 06. They were able to adapt fast enough to not do dumb stuff, assuming you had not dumb command.
Okay. All right. And you can put your own spin on this question too. You don't have to take it literally. So, what about you, Sonny?
Really, nothing stands out, man. Besides the things in political classes that I taught how bad fucking capitalism sucks, nothing else really sticks out.
And that counts. That counts.
Well, I guess, but it's a very different topic, and we should not even start going that route.
We'll do another show on that. Definitely. Jeff.
Yeah, I can tell you one. Like in the early days of the war, like close quarter battle was relatively new, and let me rephrase that, was relatively new to most of the troops that were going in. And so we used to, when you'd go into a room, you'd have your basic assault team that go into a room was 4 guys. And so, left, right. I won't get into opposing corners, which is one of my pet peeves that I think is a stupid idea, but whatever. I'll get into an argument with other Delta dudes and stuff. But we used to go in and guys would say what they saw. So open door, hallway, I've got a bed, I've got unknown space, I've got whatever, and Neil's shaking his head over there. And what would happen was you'd go into this room and everybody's yelling something, which means that you can't hear shit, you don't understand anything, and people are just in there yelling. So you've completely compromised whatever you're doing that you got in there. And it didn't take very long. So it was one of those doctrinal things. Then in the schoolhouse, you would do that. But in reality, it was just fucking stupid. There was no reason to do it. And because it's like, hey, my eyes work. That's why I'm here. And I can look over and it's like, oh, Neil's got an open window. Maybe I should help him. And I'd collapse in without ever having to say anything. So we went from this verbal chaos to like literally going through buildings and houses with literally most of the time not saying anything. So I would say that was one of the ridiculous things that early days of the war we started with, and then as we progressed, we got smarter and we stopped doing that stuff.
Good answer. All right, has anybody picked a question they want to field?
I'll do a super controversial one that I'm super excited about because I'm a big fanatic for it.
I like controversy.
Left side charging handles and AKs.
Okay.
I'll field it to everybody else, and then I'll.
Who asked the question first? Who asked the question?
Say it again.
Hold on, Marco.
Handle.
Who asked the question?
Marco's already like, no.
Yeah, he's on it. Who asked the question?
No, I'm not saying no.
So this is on Instagram, and it's the Woodsman Pilot.
Okay.
And the question itself is thoughts on left side charging handle mods, and then the second part of that is thoughts on those bullpup AK stock kits that Sentry used to make.
Okay.
I have a great story on left-handed charging handles. Go ahead, Marco. I'll let you rant, and then
Okay. I'm dying.
He is.
First of all, the left-handed charging handle, I think it's a great thing. Of course, if you do it the way that the AK is done and stick the 2 of them non-movable things on both sides, that would be a pain in the ass, and it should not exist. You pick a side and you put one on. A good solution to that problem is this company. I forgot the name. Davis Tactical, I think, and they came up with this Lynch system, which actually it's like a FNFAL type folding handle that is attached to a top cover, so you don't have to mod your gun at all. And I thought that was pretty ingenious, and I really liked it. So, and in some cases, and you got to realize where the AK configuration comes from. It has the roots in the bolt action rifle, where everything, the bolt was for the right-handed shooter, everything was on the right. So you operated your rifle with your right hand off of the trigger, you know, to operate your bolt. And the same it was for majority of the guns that were produced. However, in the modern field, when you got the magazine suspended all over you, and sometimes you use a left hand or right hand to reload your gun, so the left hand charging handle has a merit, but how you execute it is where the dog lies. So, you know, I thought that Lynch system was pretty good. I think I have it on two of my guns. One of them is PAP, the Yugoslavian short version, and the other one is my attempt to make the clone of AK-12. But anyway, but back to bullpup. And Jeff, you and Neil, you both guys were Army guys, and you've been trained in everything. Here's my statement. Bullpup as a weapon should not exist. And I explain why. If you're a SWAT officer and you fight out of your cruiser and you constantly do the marching band advance, you know, marching band steps advance, and you don't freaking crawl on your belly and stuff, and you don't fight in prone position, maybe it has a chance on life, so to speak. But as soon as you go prone and try to do those magazine changes and shit, especially if you're in the moon dust, I mean, I'm thinking the bullpup has no place in my heart, I would say.
They look good.
That's my rant.
Brian just did a mod on one, didn't you?
This is good rant. For me, the left-handed charging handle, I used to look at ways that you could do that because maybe it's more ergonomic and stuff. And then two instances happened. And when you look at a combat rifle, so we had, the first one was, we had a guy who was a left-handed shooter. We were fast roping one night. So left-handed shooter, obviously carrying his rifle on the opposite side. We're doing night fast rope training, and he was an Afghan, and he's very good, very competent guy. Left-handed guy, goes out, doesn't get a good purchase on the fast rope. So his fast rope becomes like a faster rope. He hits the ground. Charging handle busts his rib. That then becomes a tension pneumothorax, and we're in a medevac. And so it was one of those instances where it's like, oh, maybe the charging handle because the majority of people are right-handed. And it was like, oh, well, that's a pretty good reason for the AK to have a charging handle on the right-hand side. Second story is when you do immediate action drills with combat rifles, so you're not standing on the range, right? You're up, I'm up, he sees me, I'm down. I'm up, he sees me, I'm down. I'm shooting, I'm up, he sees me, I'm down. Guy came back in, and again, another left-handed shooter came back in, and he all of a sudden had a cleft lip because we were doing immediate action drills and training. His face got too forward on the rifle, and it smacked him and split him from his nose all the way to the bottom of his lip. And that was another one of those instances where it's like, oh, the charging handle on the right side is a really good idea. And then my third example is when you have that thing slinged and you're walking into a target, charging handle on the left side, you can bounce that thing out of battery because the charging handle's there, because it'd be against your body, and you'd have to check it. So that was three instances. I used to be like, yeah, you need a left-handed charging handle, and then after I saw those three, I was like, nope, leave the charging handle on the right side. We messed with charging handles that tilted up so that you could come across the top, which worked until you started putting electronic sights on there. And then they got in the way, and all of a sudden it was like, that doesn't work anymore. Got to go back to the standard charging handle that sticks out to the side. And it's really nice that when you get your strong hand under stress and you get a piece of brass that's stuck, you can grab that thing and yard on it with your strong arm and yank that thing loose. So that's one of those things where I'm like, nah, Team Kalashnikov figured out, leave it on the right-hand side. And the reality is, when we did our testing, the difference in time and speed and this was another question that was in the Instagram, is going over versus going under. I'm a fan of, I go over the top, but I roll the rifle, and so I'm not even really going over the top, because it's a way more for sure, and I can do that standing, prone, as well as kneeling. And so if you do that, then all of a sudden it's negligible anyways. I would argue it's statistically insignificant for that. So there's my rant.
Listeners can go
Sonny,
back to the...
What's Sonny's take on this?
Well, real quick, I swear it's relevant.
Okay.
We did a video, Jeff and I videoed Jeff and put it on my Instagram channel. It's one of our first posts with him demonstrating the technique that he's talking about.
Cool. Sonny.
All right. I'll do a very short take on that. Switching the side for the charging handle. Fuck no. Don't do it. There is no reason for it. Bullpup designs, if it rocks your boat, go for it, brother. Not for me. I've been running with the thing since 1987, so it's been a few moons. All these things, and it's going to sound like a stuck in time old timer, but something that Marcos said, it's operating your rifle, manipulating your rifle, any weapon really. It's a lot of people will talk ergonomics. What is really ergonomics? It's what the fuck you are used to do. That's what ergonomics are. It's not how rifle is designed and all that. If you look at the manipulative parts on the two specific rifle designs, AR and AK. If you went from the mag in, if you are into that game of manipulating the safety off, safety on, then going to the trigger. I would suggest listeners actually go and strictly mechanically look at the continuity and flow of the movement, how your hand moves, and tell me which one has better ergonomics. So when people talk about ergonomics and switching sides for the charging handle, again, I'll refer back to what Marco said. It's whatever the percentage is. It's not the design of the rifle. It's not who thinks is, whichever design is more modern and more reflective of efficient human performance. It's what the hell you train and what the hell you got used to.
I agree. Marco, you're over there finger fucking your rifle. What's
Yeah, that's that Lynch system I was showing you. So, referring to Jeff's stories, if it would protrude like this, it will fuck you up big time. And you're gonna hit it somewhere in the face, in the chest, in the stomach. God only knows where. That's why this thing is it folds. It's kind of on the top of the gun. It's out of the way. That's the only thing that I see that would make sense. But other than that, imagine this thing jamming into your forehead, and I've seen that happen. This thing right here, the actual handle.
Yeah.
So.
I actually teach people to do that.
Shove it into their heads?
Yeah, not their own, someone else's.
Someone else's. It's a legitimate weapon. Yeah, you could use that.
I mean,
all right, pick another question. Who wants to do the next question? Who picked that one? Marco, Sonny, pick one.
Neil, I think.
I didn't pick any questions. You guys pick for me.
You didn't pick one?
Nope.
Let's see. FPS Murdoch.
I like surprises. I don't like to be like I'm picky and choosy and and all that stuff.
All right. FPS Murdoch, which he says hi to you, by the way.
Yeah.
He says,
I know the guy.
Yeah. I know where Sonny stands on this, but how do the rest of you feel about the AK enhanced safety? And Sonny, we'll start off with you on your feelings about the AK enhanced safety first.
Is that the one, the safety, I'm sorry, so I understand correctly. That's the one with the cutout and stuff in it for the
Marco, that's the one with an extra notch that sits right above your trigger guard.
What's it for?
Sometimes it's referred to as Krebs enhanced safety. Although Mark Krebs was not the first one to invent it, but you know what I'm talking about. That has
yes.
extra notch. That way, our dear American friends that like to finger fuck that safety back and forth every time the stock leaves the shoulder, they can just enjoy that sound of click, 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 back and forth, back and forth. All right, so it's an absolute no, and I'll tell you why it's absolute no. Two reasons. One, because of where it sits in its angulation, that has a little bit downwards angulation. I've seen in training on more than one occasion when people were in the habit of finger fucking with their safeties in the middle of the drill, where at the moment where they had somewhat of a low ready position before they present the rifle, they started slinging the safety off. Finger off of that enhanced extra notch slipped right into trigger guard and depressed the trigger, hitting the concrete, or one time very close to a foot of the person in front of them.
Oh, damn.
So that's one. Another thing, the enhanced safety notch, the way it sits, if you're going to do a magazine change the way some instructors teach, where you hold two magazines, basically with a fresh magazine, you come up to the rifle, you eject the magazine using your thumb, and then you insert the fresh magazine. I have seen on more than a dozen occasions when you're working on the other side of the rifle, that extra magazine, the fresh magazine you're bringing up, re-engage the safety back on. Because the way magazine comes up next to the rifle receiver, and that enhanced safety is going to sit exactly where you're using, where the fresh magazine is, you're bringing it up to depress with your thumb to eject the empty magazine. That fresh magazine will re-engage the safety back on.
Good point.
Seen it happen more than a dozen times.
Anybody
Remove
else?
the enhanced safeties, put them on the eBay, sell them, keep what's on it, stop fucking with the safeties all the time.
Anybody
Cheers.
else got an opinion?
Can I? I have experience with it.
Okay.
Okay, so there's Sonny referring to that from practical point, and I agree 100% with this. So there's the positive things and there's negative things. The positive thing is an illusion by to kind of like enhancing your gun by installing this thing in your gun, and then somehow it makes it so much better, right? Well, first of all, if it is a gun with the fun switch, you have to train your freaking finger so precisely not to pass by the full auto notch, right? That's one thing. Second of all, I mean, it does aid in the way of putting it back on safety in safe position, maybe. Now, picture some of the AKMSs, right? The so-called underfolders. That freaking thing renders the operation of a safety lever non-existent, because that thing will inadvertently will catch in the channel of the stamped arms of the underfolder. You can grind it and somehow make it fit. It's up to you. But but then again, I mean, how many underfolders you have versus the fixed stock or side folding stocks? So the notch on it to hold the bolt open, I find it very useful when I'm at DNR range, and that's it. So just to keep to put that bolt in, just a range officer can come in and look to see that my chamber is clear. Empty casing will do the same thing. You know, you stick the empty casing, you pull the bolt back, and you stick the empty casing in it, and that seems to satisfy him as well. So I don't see the need for that bolt hold open notch at all. It also opens the action up to potential contamination by dust, dirt, and whatever, which that particular shape of a safety lever was designed to prevent. And so I don't know. So you got to kind of, for each person, you got to weigh the pros and cons in this. And to me, it's neither here or there. You just train in your gun. If you like it, you like it. But like I said, the notch is the only thing that I probably would completely, forgo and forget about it.
Okay.
Don't do it. If you want that little shelf for your index finger, then please do train with it so you know which fun or non-fun single shot or auto.
Training's what it's all about. Yeah.
So
right.
I'll be the dissenting opinion here, Marty.
Yeah, let's do it. I love it.
We found we would put a like if you get like a washer and cut it in half and put it straight on the thing. So some of the enhanced safeties now, they come down a little bit. So it's like a little arm that drops down below the lever of the safety. Whereas when we were enhancing our safeties, we'd pull the safety off, and then we'd get the PK can opener that would open up, not the PK, the ammo, the tuna can opener, and we would cut that and we would weld that onto the side. So it didn't drop down like most of the enhanced safeties they have now. It's just a little shelf that was on the kind of like that, except for even a little bit higher.
Oh no, this is another one, Marty.
Oh, it's different.
And we actually do it the way that Jeff told me about this method, and we make a modified safety in the way that Jeff describes. That's really nice. Where I hope when Sonny sees one, he'll be at least not completely horrified, because we do just a little sliver, maybe a third of a quarter. If you imagine taking a quarter and then cutting a third of a piece off it, so you got a little eyebrow. And we use really beefy steel that's about the thickness of that Spam can opener. Like Jeff made so many different things with those Spam can openers. It's amazing.
You really made use of that Spam can.
Yep. But having that real low profile, the way that Jeff is talking about, we found to be quite nice.
And we found, after training, Afghans, right, that Afghans in Iraqis, primarily my stuff was with Afghans. But, and so you'd get guys that had PhDs all the way to guys that, couldn't write their own name. And we found actually with the shelf there, we had less negligent discharges. Like our negligent discharges essentially went to zero because it gave a place for them to put their triggers.
Oh, that's a good point, Jeff. Good point.
And so instead of everybody running around like this finger, we could get that forward finger position because it gave them a place to put that finger. And then it also enhanced the other stuff. And as far as we teach going to safe in between targets, because it's like when you run around with people of questionable, it's far more of a chance you're going to shoot somebody that you don't want to shoot versus shooting you want. And so we teach that safety manipulation. But with that, where our NDs actually went to zero after that. So I'm a big fan of it. I like it. It's on all my rifles. And even when I'm showing people manipulating with nothing in my hands, that finger drops so that it can go and squeeze. So, but I don't prefer the ones that are dropped down, that have the lever, like what you were talking about, Marco, with the underfolder, that can get into the way. And then also like what you were talking about, Sonny, with the 2 magazines, it can bump that up. Yeah, most certainly, because it's sticking down so low. So I don't know. Again, it's worth probably a tip for your cup of coffee.
All right, next question. I think we answered that pretty good. I'm looking for a good one here. We got so many. There's this, like I said, this has been the most engaging episode that we've had. We've got tons of questions here.
Oh, there's a guy, Bailey Muller here.
Who?
Bailey Muller 80.
Who
says Bailey, B-A
who
I-L-E.
Who? Now go ahead.
He's asking, how do you properly tune an AK gas system? And I'm less interested in the how from our experts here, and more interested in the what, because a slow bolt carrier is much easier for a beginner. And there are expert shooters. When I first came out with the 1775, I handed it to Travis Haley without a can on it, and I didn't notice anything about it. And he's like, this gun's a little sluggish. And I'm like, well, let me throw the can on it. And that obviously increases the bolt carrier speed and, increases the gas in the gun. And he was like, oh, this is perfect. And so I'm wondering if any of the experts here have had gas systems tuned for them, and whether they like them soft or slamming back and moving faster.
I've had mine, basically all my U.S. made rifles tuned just for competition because that's what I use them for. And I found that a well-regulated gas system paired with a good muzzle brake will take care of your muzzle rise and felt recoil. Whereas for like bolt carrier speed, as long as I can't outrun the trigger doing, like 0.12, 0.11 splits, then it's fast enough for me. If I'm doing splits that are that speed and I'm overriding the trigger and that carrier follow, then yeah, absolutely, there's a huge issue with that we need to have addressed. But that's been my real big experience with gas tuning, because I got Mario at Lee Armory who does all of my voodoo to my guns, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening here, but I appreciate you made it shoot.
Totally.
I have no opinion on this. I mean, I know that when we were issued the guns, he'll hand it to you and says it shoots to the left a little bit. That's about it, because you expect the gun to work as prescribed, right? So there is no adjustable gas system in the AK like it would be on the SVT-40, on the SVD, and things like that, and PKM. So and the sluggish or the bolt carrier speed only comes into play, in my opinion, when you're firing full auto. And when you're firing semi-automatic, I mean, is there again? Maybe I should check myself here, because the majority of the users here, the commercial users, use semi-automatic guns rather than combat guys that go out there and actually fire full auto on a regular basis. So that's my opinion. I have no opinion on that. How you tune it?
I would expect that with your military experience, because you guys had to work down at -40 Celsius, and with that sort of low, or whatever it is you crazy people were doing, and you need a lot of gas, or you need a big hole for the gun to function at low temperatures. And I'm not saying that was like a typical thing, but the Soviet mil spec is pretty demanding. When you have really cold ammo, it's going to burn slower and make less gas.
Well, I mean, that's just it, because when the set of specifications issued, it would say the gun shall perform an ambient temperature of plus 55 Celsius, minus 50 Celsius. So when you submit a gun for testing, they will definitely test those parameters. And I guess their mechanical genius found the golden middle that would have as far as the gas port is concerned, an amount of gas is actually passed through the gas block and stuff, and where it meets both of those ranges and anything in between.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say something very short, and again, it's going to be probably sounding like a grumpy old man, because I am. I just turned 52, so that's right.
Are you so young?
Yeah.
Okay, Marco. Okay. All right. I'm probably the third oldest here, right?
Bush for some reason.
You're 2 years older than me.
Was that?
You're a year and a half older than me.
I see. Well, not that far. Anyway,
I'm a month behind you, Sonny.
I think the only modern issue for those who are not going to be going into fun places to do fun stuff, and I'm talking civilians. Now, I'm going to say something that Marco said, military and using it in the fun setting, otherwise known as full auto. In all my time in military, I used full auto twice. Both times there were situations of suppressive fire. Other than that, I always used it in the lowest position, full semi-automatic. I think the only time that pressure comes in outside of those parameters that we talked about, certain temperatures, especially extreme cold, is these days it's coming into suppressing the weapon. Right now, I'm actually gonna ask Brian here at some point when I'm gonna get ODS and Jim Fuller, who's I was expecting to be here, but I guess he wasn't able to make it. They both, I think, independently are working on the adjustable pressure thingies for the AKs.
Yeah.
The whole idea of sluggish or non-sluggish bolt work, depending on the pressure, unless you're trying, like, again, competitive guys, where you're trying to work your splits, you're working that. I get it. You may have certain amount of difference in the report and how it feels. I only focus strictly on. I know it's gonna sound kind of pretentious. Combative applications. For the modern civilian who's not going to go into the mountains of outside of Peshawar, that is not going to make a difference. AK as is, as far as pressure, is fine unless you want to work and put can on it. Then you may have a little bit of a blowback, or you're going to go to, I don't know, Krasnoyarsk, Siberia in January. Well, yeah, then you're going to feel some things and it may feel different. Besides that, guys, my opinion, leave it as is unless you are suppressing it.
Anyone else?
Sage advice all around.
Anyone else want to take that? Let's take another question then. I'm going to go to Facebook. Let's go to Facebook. It'll jump. And this says... Well, that's for Jim. Jim's not on. Maybe he'll jump on. We still got time for him to jump on. He's doing a little secret squirrel training. Mike Tressa Jr. Has anyone here... I think this guy's drunk. So basically, I've had a couple of questions about ammo being made in the U.S. What is the main problem with producing quality AK in the U.S.? Also recommend an AK-74 kit that's affordable. My state only allows AK-47 pistols. Well, what's your opinions on, I think Palmetto or somebody was, or Primary, I don't know who it was talking about making some AK ammo. What are your guys' thoughts on the ammo situation here in America?
Okay, well, let me address something. Yes, there will be some ammo. There is some ammo. There is some quality ammo. By the way, I'm not a paid spokesperson, but there's this company called Defiant Munitions. They are out of Sturgis. These are the people that used to be at the helm of Korban ammunition. They do make incredible 7.62x39 ammunition. It is not cheap. It is not affordable, as some people will say. Affordable, I guess, from the perspective in the context of when we used to buy 1,000 rounds at $169.
Yeah.
Well, those days are not coming back, guys. Let's just make peace with that idea, and that's what it is. This is not a range plinking ammo, unless you're a very rich person. But most of my 7.62 magazines are now loaded with Defiant Munitions 7.62x39. I also have on a pretty decent authority to say that possibly they are working on 5.45.
But theirs is brass, right?
Yes, actually here it is brass. It's not steel case. So obviously you will be paying for it. It's not only that it's brass, but it's also a copper bullet, solid copper bullet with the nice cuts. It does magic, whatever it hits, especially if it's soft flesh. As far as the range training ammo, more of a plinking ammo. Yes, I heard about that. Palmetto is going to be doing something.
Yeah, like
another
a steel
thing,
case.
This is the way. This is the way the funny capitalism works. Now that we have no importation from Russia, if I were to bet, I will guarantee you that the same companies from Russia that we used to buy ammo from, they're going to have factories operating in Kazakhstan and a few other satellite states, and it's going to come back.
Yeah, but
it's also my understanding they've just put a ban on new permits, and that ammo is still coming into the country. We've got a couple years and hopefully a new administration.
Yep.
So not that I don't want American ammo, I do, and I'm a giant Defiant fan. This is 100 yards. The owner of Defiant shooting one of our guns, 3-shot group that looks like Mickey Mouse, basically. A little clover leaf kind of thing. And his ammo is awesome and is in all of my, go to war magazines. It's outstanding stuff.
Yeah, I think Sonny hit it on the head there. Capitalism will prevail, and somebody's going to step up and fill the gap.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
There's no doubt
That's
about
what
it.
makes us great now, for now.
And on the other side of that too, for the 5.45 shooters, and I know it's expensive when it comes to what we're used to paying, the Hornady Black stuff. You can still get their steel case, but they're also making new brass, and that stuff is sub half MOA out of my guns. So I highly recommend. You're shooting VMAXs. It's $1 a round, which sucks, but it's there and it's available. So,
Well, for about 6 years, I used to take payments for my classes with not necessarily just cash, but I would take spam cans. So I kind of stocked up. I'm looking up at about 18 of those sitting over there in the corner store.
Hold the phone. Jim is trying to get in.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Oh. So try to get him on with us. We'll field some more questions. What is everyone's preferred barrel length for the AK, regardless of the NFA?
Regardless of the NFA.
Regardless.
Excluding NFA items?
If you're just going to run one, what barrel length do you prefer?
All right. Well, I'm sorry. Did I jump ahead of everyone?
No, you're good. Do it.
Well, the question is, what is it for? I mean, is it for close quarters, home defense type of deal? Or is it for
just your everyday go-to
and stuff?
Your everyday go-to. This is what I'm grabbing and I'm taking. This is my AK build.
As a good Lord prescribed, standard length.
14 and a half with a pin and welded.
I don't think it's 14 and a half, but I think it's close to 16 actually.
Yep.
Okay.
An interesting
AM4 fan comes out of you, Marty.
In my opinion, anything between 14 and a half, AK 105, 104 length, up to a standard length, it's ideal for AK. You can go shorter if you into sexy stuff.
I hear him.
What were you saying, Brian?
Oh, we've got Mr. Jim Fuller in the house. Hello, sir.
Oh, has he joined us? He made it.
Yeah, I was just waving. Yep.
There he is.
Anything, man. I don't know what the thing's doing, but it's not working well.
No, you're here.
Which balloon is he behind?
Are you in the balloon room, Jim?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I don't know, man. I don't know this shit. I'm too fucking old for this internet.
Welcome in, man. We're taking listener questions, so you haven't completely missed the show.
I'm sorry, man. I
no, don't apologize.
I just got done with dinner and I just got back and I saw your link that you're still on, so I thought, okay, I'll say hi.
Hell yeah, we're about 5 or 6 fingers deep into some whiskey here, so we're having a good time.
You're I don't know. I can't really see you guys. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm doing one now.
That a boy. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Love
this
it.
This is a Mark 46. It's pretty good shit.
I don't know, man. I'm looking at every balloon and I don't see Jim anywhere.
Well, I can't see any of you guys.
Change your view. Change your grid view, man. Change it.
I don't know how to fucking do that shit.
Me neither. Damn it.
I love this. This is great.
This American stuff here. You fucking asshole people.
Fucking, it's China, man. It's China. I'm telling you. So we're reading questions, listener questions. Jeff, will the Black Autumn series be made into a show or movie? P-Man 301.
So we're working on the last book in the series. So this is book number 10 that we're working on, and it's Blood Spring. If anybody's been following it, we'd love to do a movie, or a show with Black Autumn. I mean, it's been a labor of love, but we'll see who knows. You know what I mean? I will say we're number one bestseller all through October for Sci-Fi Military on Amazon, so that was pretty cool. But so that's my 15 seconds of fame, I guess. But we'd love to.
Among other things, it's just you're 15. What about Rat's Tourniquet? What about all the other stuff? Ready Man Network. Come on, son.
We're working on it.
You're working.
Yeah, for those uninitiated, the Black Autumn series is the equivalent of a 15-year scotch for prepper fiction. It's really, really high-quality stuff. And as I understand it, Jeff and his business partner just war-gamed the whole thing of what they would do in their particular situation. And I found it to be exceedingly useful. Lots of interesting ideas in how one would interact with what I fear is coming in the not-too-distant future.
Yeah, it certainly changed the way that we looked at emergency preparedness and what could potentially happen. And overwhelmingly what people tell us is your book's terrifying because it could actually happen. And so it's like, well, okay, I guess that's a good thing. But
I think it's actually happening.
It kind of, before I even knew what a Black Swan event was, we took the Black Swan idea where it's not just one thing that causes a societal collapse or critical incident, but it's a group of little things that happen. And say what you want to about COVID, it's definitely been a Black Swan event. Who could have ever imagined that like a pandemic would hit and that we would start shutting down world economies and throwing people into things that look suspiciously like concentration camps in Australia and just on and on and on with all of this stuff. That it is a Black Swan event. Is it going to drag the world down? TBD, right? Remains to be seen. But it's definitely you could have never have predicted this. In 2 years from now or 2 years ago, you could have never have predicted it. And the scary thing is, based off our historical research, is that Black Swan events hit about every 50 years. Now they don't drag countries down, but they do sizable damage. But that's a whole nother thing. So we hope to make a movie. We'll see. That's probably a pipe dream, but it's nice to think about.
This episode of the Talking Lead AK Korner is brought to you in part by Occam Defense. The guys at Occam love the AK, but didn't love burning their hands, getting cut by their pre-sharpened gun, or the lack of options for accessories. After spending a few years in the lab, they've recently released the ODS 1775, which brings the best of the AR family to the Kalashnikov's reliability. It's still an AK under the hood. AK mags, forged Polish AK parts, but with American aerospace manufacturing practices and ingenuity. Check them out at occamdefense.com or on Instagram at Occam Defense Solutions. All right, next question. This comes from Ryan Abbott. It says, when it comes to the next major leap for the AK platform, I hope the U.S. industry hones in on quality full-length rails, similar to what the Galils offer. When do you guys foresee full-length rails utilizing the dust covers on the Kalashnikov really taking hold in the U.S. like they have in Russia, especially ones that hold zero well? I know in Russia they have Sure Shot Armament and Zintico, but from what I know, those are the only two available in the U.S. that reliably hold zero. Do you guys know of any quality American companies bringing something like this to market?
Occam Defense.
I was like, I think I know a guy on this show right now.
I think I know a couple of guys. Jim, you got a comment on that?
You asking me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have a spin on that. Wait till February.
Awesome. Can't wait to see it.
It's in the mail? I like that.
It'll be built soon.
It's coming.
Yeah, we've been working on something for a while, and it's about to come to fruit. So that's all I really want to say right now.
Okay. All right. You know this is the show for exclusives, though, right? Don't be shy. Take another drink.
We just had this conversation at dinner, and I don't know if I want to go down that road.
Okay. All right. We're not going to press you. But go ahead.
I have to kind of, I got to be subtle about this because everything I do, people copy, and I'm just not going to tell people what I'm doing,
I got you. But you're doing something along those lines. Got you.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Excluding the makers on the show, i.e. Fuller, Phoenix, and Occam Defense, who is your favorite AK manufacturer? Both of those. Sorry.
Well, I'll answer that.
Okay.
Besides Jim's and Brian's work, I don't own any other AKs. So there you go.
Perfect.
Good to hear you, brother.
Hey, Jim. Actually, I'm probably going to swing by Vegas here in a couple of weeks.
I see a bunch of balloons. I don't see
by
you.
Phoenix, I mean. I'm hiding behind one of those balloons.
He's behind the blue balloon between the orange and red.
You got to squeeze it. Like you're at the Spearmint Rhino, Jim.
Jim, do you see it?
If you're at the Spearmint Rhino, squeeze it.
I've never been in a strip club.
Really?
Actually, I take that back.
Never hung out with Joe Mo.
And he says, "Hey, let's go to my wife's bar and have lunch." Okay. And she was behind the counter serving food. Oh, this is good. So I get my hamburger, and then it's like, "Oh, hey, Jim, it's her turn to dance. Let's go watch." And I'm going, "Dude, I don't really want to watch your wife naked." I don't mean to be weird. I mean, it may not sound weird, but it's like that just was a little strange for me,
That is odd. Yeah. All right. This one's for Jim. Is from Brett Bedell. Says, for the Godfather, Mr. Jim Fuller, talk about some of your favorite AK builds.
I
think you just posted one, didn't you?
There's been there's been a lot of stuff. I mean, I've done a lot of wild one-offs things over the years. Kind of cool, barring what's coming, probably the best things I've done was probably the URD was a pretty good gun, and still is. But what I'm doing now is going to make that gun obsolete. But I like the 105s a lot. I'm actually building a lot of those right now because people seem to like the way I do them. I guess I don't know. But the 105 I think is probably the quintessential best AK they ever designed, and it's pretty hard to beat that gun. The problem is you just can't get the parts for it anymore, and not without paying an arm and a leg. I mean, if I tried to build somebody a 105 today and they didn't have anything, and they wanted the full 105 with his Echo shit, all that stuff, you're probably looking at $4 or $5 grand. If you can find all the parts, and that's not sticking people. That's just what it costs to build.
That's just a big if you can find the parts. Yeah, that's what it costs to get those parts.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really pulling for PSA, KUSA, Wiley Defense. These guys that are actually trying to put out, quality stuff. I understand the challenges of that, probably more than the general market does, because I've tried to do it myself, and it's very expensive and it's very hard to do. Companies have done a good job of creating a pretty good tier gun. It's not the original, but it's a pretty good tier gun for the guy that's not shoot, 1,000 rounds a month. Great gun. So we're getting there. Americans are getting there, but it's going to take a lot more to get to where the original spec AK is. And Sonny knows what I mean when I say that, because, he and I are kind of the guys that go back away here. So I think he understands what I'm talking about. The design and the way that a lot of the parts were made in the original, comp block guns is just not being equaled yet. It's getting close, but you got to remember that stuff was built by government armories and never had to make a profit. Or at least stay in business.
That's true.
That's why we have what we have today. I mean, we have good guns here, but they're, they got a ways to go to get to that spec.
Well, if you just do the math, on what ammo costs and how many rounds you need to put through a gun to know if the parts are good, and then do that with 100 guns. Seriously, like if we don't get ammo too much cheaper than the public does. And so if you just start running the math of 100 guns, 30,000 rounds times what, let's just say you got a really good deal at 10 cents a round. Run that math. It is an obscene amount of money just for the ammo, let alone the kits, the guns, the time for people to pull the triggers, all the tracking on what's going wrong, what's wearing out, what isn't, and then rinse and repeat.
Brian, apologize. Let me interrupt you here on something. I apologize for this, but I just want to say something. There's an awful lot of people in this industry that use their customers as test dummies to avoid this kind of call.
Yes, sir. You are correct.
So I'm saying some stuff that I probably shouldn't say, and I may be pissing off a few people. But this is the difference between quality manufacturers and people that are just jumping on the bandwagon. Guys like Brian, who was probably one of the best students I ever had. He's done phenomenal work with his guns. He has his own image. He has his own brand because he cares about the weapon. And he tries to build it to the spec that it was built at. And that's why you hear him saying what he's saying right now. Am I making myself clear?
Thank you, sir.
Perfectly.
And I built my first gun with Jim, and I've said it in a bunch of places, but anything I've done stands on the shoulders of Mark Krebs and Jim Fuller, and we as the American public owe a great debt to Jim for bringing the gun up to where it is now.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's a question from CZTW. Opinion point to, I don't know. You know who you are. What isn't happening in regards to manufacturing AKs in the U.S. that should be happening?
Okay.
Oh boy.
Right here.
Should I do another show on this?
Yeah, probably some of these manufacturing types would probably have a lot to say about it, but I can tell you right now what's the tendency from numerous manufacturers, whether they're good, bad, or otherwise, is that they base all of their guns on the 1959 design, AKMs. I mean, that platform kind of lived itself out with introduction of a 74 platform, which is more modern and employing different, technology and everything at the time. And then as a subsequential, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't speak English well, but anyway. And as a result, release of 100 series AKs, like Jim was saying, 105, and somebody else mentioned 104, and KUSA just recently released K103, KR103. I mean, that's not. I mean, the utilization of technology that is brought in with introduction of the AK-74 platform is what not happening nationwide from one manufacturer to another across the way. I mean, several select guys, like we have a couple here doing the right thing, but everybody else from, even the PSA as well, though they call it 103, it's just dressed up AKM. So we as a gun industry needs AK portion of a gun industry need to get away from AKM design. That's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Good point.
Agreed.
Marco.
Yep.
Did anybody else want to add to it?
I could, but I think we already touched on it.
Okay.
You got to remember that the original AKs were built by government arsenals that didn't have to make a profit. And companies like PSA, USA, they got to make a profit. It's capitalism. It's how we work.
That's true.
I don't know that. Original, properly forged spec parts is what we need, and I don't know that we're ever going to get what was the OG thing. Just because of the cost factor of being able to do it. I mean, I hope somebody will step up and do it. At this point, we have such a limited supply of good parts anymore that, those of us who know the difference between good AK and not, we look for the best parts we can to build the gun to make sure our customers get the best gun we can get. And Brian, I know we've had this discussion before.
Yep.
And it's getting very hard because it's getting expensive because the better parts cost a lot of money. And on top of all that, you have all the the Eastern European and people that are selling the stuff to us. They know the value of this stuff now, and they're charging for it.
Yep. So
they say, "Oh, you're ripping us off. You're charging too much money for this stuff." No, it's what we have to pay to build this. You want the best stuff. If you want a spec AK that's going to do 100,000 rounds, that's what you got to pay these days. And that's just the reality of it. And anybody who thinks different is not living in reality.
It's funny how the tables turn, right? You go back, let's say 15 years ago, and you walk into a pawn shop or gun shop, and UAK would be a $400 affair versus the almost $1,000 AR. And now it's all the way around. I mean, there's a plethora of $500 plus ARs, and you can get into AR relatively inexpensive compared to a decent AK per se.
That's very true, Markham.
But you know what? Let me piggyback a little bit here on what Jim said. When you say what industry is not doing what it should be doing, I think overall, as people that work with AKs and appreciate the design, is that this is where the problem lies. That a lot of people are looking at AK, and the presumption out there is that AK should be cheaper than AR. No, fuck, it shouldn't.
Anybody that's ever built one knows different.
Correct.
Yep.
Well,
correct.
Jim, but the problem is that majority of manufacturers, even or importers or whatnot, they're pushing. Oh, look, I got a good deal for you. Now I have a case for $900. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This whole mentality that AK is a peasant's weapon that should cost 30 or 40% of what quality AR costs is absolute bullshit, and that's the first thing that we should move is to dispel that dogma that somehow this is a cheap weapon. No, it is not, and it shouldn't be. And as Jim mentioned, back in those days when you could buy a $400 AK, a lot of that shit did come from the state's armories and all that stuff. That there was no profit margin or profit issues going into it, and there were hundreds of thousands of them floating. Those days are long gone.
Correct.
Yep.
It's
Good
also
point.
going back to what we talked earlier about those myths that exist in the marketplace, saying AK is not accurate, blah blah blah, peasant weapon. It should be like you use a shovel and a sledgehammer to put it together, and so on. Like Jim said, anyone who built one will tell you that it's not a freaking easy put together gun. I mean, it's kind of like the quality of the components it must be high, and the way you put it together has to be on the level.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
To my right here is a print for the rear sight base, which is a relatively simple part on the AK. And I'm looking at 3 different dimensions that have a tolerance window of less than 1,000th of an inch. This idea that AKs are built in caves is utter horse shit. Now, I know about the Khyber Pass, but those guys are not, that's not what we're talking about. That's a different thing. When the parts actually get made, there are way more tight tolerances on an AK than there are on an AR-15. Way more. And it's a precision weapon. It's precisely sloppy. That's different. Like the room that's in the receiver and in the action to take fouling and dispose of it. Yes, there's slop in the gun.
That's by design.
Yeah,
that's by design.
Yep.
Well, but I mean, also too, you got to remember that the reason this gun works so well is, a good example of how good of a design that the AK is it can be built horribly wrong and still run. It won't run well, or it won't run for a long time, but it will run and people tend to believe that it's like, okay, this is a good AK because I built it and it'll run. No, you have no clue. I've
Go ahead. Go. Somebody's wanting to say it. Do it. Say it.
No, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt Jim?
Hey, Jim. Jim, Sonny speaking. Speak
I'm
up,
sorry,
brother.
man. I'm having a hard time hearing between all these people here. You know, I
Yeah.
put headphones on so I can hear better, but you know.
Yeah, Jim, we met years ago in Arizona. You know, you still worked from your garage back then. So
Yeah, you remember the class that we did? You, me, and Marco. That was probably the first legitimate AK class ever in this fucking country.
That's awesome.
You know, but those times are forgotten because now there's a new wave, new age, new ways, new modernized this and that. But here's the thing, guys. You know, Jim, I'm trying to think. Besides him and Mark Krebs, back in those days, who else was making AKs, Jim?
Troy Sellers was pretty good. He did a lot of
Troy
good stuff.
Sellers.
Troy Sellers knows the AK. You know.
Ted Marshall, remember him?
Ted Marshall, yeah. Well, Ted Marshall,
no doubt. Ted Marshall is actually one of my mentors.
Ted Marshall, I actually had one of his guns, and unfortunately, I had to sell it. But yeah, but you know, so back then there were 4 or 5 guys that were at the beginning of that whole movement with access to good parts to you know. And they really dug into the system. They really dug into this rifle. Now you have dudes that literally they may or may not take some half-ass class there, and they start making AKs in their garage, and it's all good. They come to my class. They have about 60 fucking choke-ups on their AK. Of course, you know. Of course, the blame will go to ammunition or that, you know. My clay here in East Texas is a little bit too hard even on AKs. And you look at that shit and you go like, dude, you know, leave the job to people who actually are passionate about it and know what they're doing. It became too much of this, you know, a hobby of putting together a gun. Guys, this is fucking combat rifle.
Bless you, brother.
You know? And
Absolutely.
we should just talk straight about it, because I know there's a lot of listeners out there that go like, they have inspiration maybe to go in the garage tomorrow after this inspiring freaking show and go like, I'm going to put my AK-105 together. No, you won't. No, you won't. It's going to be AK-109.
Yeah. We've had several questions about parts kits and all that. If you go back to our previous episodes, I think we've answered all those. So go check our previous episodes. Brian, let's do one more listener question, and then we've got giveaways to do. We've got prizes to award. We award our listeners here, reward our listeners. No other podcast gives away more than Talking Lead, and we're going to prove that on this episode. And we're also doing a Galil giveaway with IWI-US. So I'm going to give you details on how you can get an additional 500 entries on that giveaway. But let's do one more question, Brian.
See, this one is, I'm really interested. This will sound like a basic bitch question, but I think it's actually going to be really interesting. I think everybody would say that they don't particularly care what zero somebody uses so long as they know where their bullets go. But past that, what is everyone's preferred zero for an AK with or without a red dot?
Oh, I have one.
Lay it on us, sir.
25-yard zero with the sight set at 100.
That's it.
Thank you, sir.
Question has been answered. Let's move on to giveaways.
Well, now Marty, right? Jeff has a really interesting method that a bunch of people who I know who aren't on this call really like. So, Jeff, you want to run us through the belt buckle, or do you want to be non-controversial tonight? That's a fine thing too, to just enjoy yourself. You look to have a low blood pressure
Jeff,
at the moment.
Go for it, brother.
No, I actually the zero that I prefer is out of straight Soviet doctrine. It's a 100-meter zero that you've got the, I'm trying to remember the measurements, where your front sight post appears to be the same size as the silhouettes there. You always aim at the belt, and then that compensates for the 26-centimeter rise. of the bullet as it's going down. That takes you out to 350 meters for your battle sight 0. That's what I always used, and it worked very well for me. So if you aim at a guy's belt, you'll hit him. So the idea being is, the reality is in combat, I don't necessarily care where I hit you as long as I put lead in you. And so whether it's here or here or here or here, really it doesn't matter. I'm punching holes. And so out to 350 meters, like what you were talking about, Marco, out to 4 where you have your standoff. But I got that off of the standard Soviet manual that had been translated back in, I think it was like 1973. It was 100 meters 0. And so that's the one that I prefer. It simplifies it. I'm a pretty simple guy. It's like, okay, from here to 350 meters, aim at the belt, I'll hit. That's good enough. It's super easy and genius simplicity.
I second this 100%. So I would prefer a 100 meter 0 and my battle sight set up at the battle position.
Well, if you want to detail it, let me detail it a little bit. The 25-yard 0 with the sight set on 100, pointing at center of mass. At 25, you're going to get center of mass. At 50, you're going to get about half an inch high. At 100, you're going to get about another inch high. At 200, you might get about the same or start to drop a little bit. At 300, you'll be about in the belly. So either way you do it, either one works. And as Jeff said, it's just all about getting metal on meat. And either way will do it. So whatever you choose to do, just make sure you know how it works and know your holdovers, because if you have to hit something beyond 300 yards, you need to know what your holdovers are on that gun. And it's not that hard to do. I mean, I've taken the AK out as far as 1,000 yards, and I've seen that you can actually hit a target at 1,000 yards. The hole is going to be oblong because the bullet is falling from the sky at that point, but you can actually do it if you know your holdovers.
One more thing I want to add to talking about the standard manuals and how the soldiers were trained back then in the home country. It seems like I'm the only guy talking about full auto stuff, because I guess we have a few.
It's relevant. It's definitely relevant.
And we train the Southeast Michigan Army ROTC on standard and non-standard weapons. But anyway, we're firing full auto at the distances at about 200 to 300 meters on advancing enemy, which would be arranged in a checkered pattern. Would have you aim at the right knee in the full auto in the short burst, whereas first round will strike the target in the chest. The second round we're going over the left shoulder, with expectation striking a next trooper in a checkered pattern. And that's the reason why the targets on a training basis at the ranges was set up the same way. And it would be considered like a big deal if you actually would knock the 2 targets with 2-round burst. And it's been done on a regular basis. And so that's another one, but it's just like an anecdotal thing.
What range was that at, Marco?
200 to 250.
Gotcha, thanks.
Anything to add, Sonny?
Yes.
Anything to add to that?
No, not really.
Okay.
I got something to add to the zeroing that I found shooting a lot of, class competitions guys don't realize. Is when you zero your rifle and your bullet's supposed to do something, go verify that at distance. Your bullet's supposed to
that is very true.
200 at 300 at this hold. Guys, they look online, they read something, they send their 25-yard 0, they move their slide up or their dot or wherever it is, but their left and right at 200 could potentially be off because obviously the magnification of your cone of fire. And a lot of guys go, my bullet's going in a weird spot. I'm like, it's going the same place. Your sights are off. And they don't adjust for downrange.
I will add something really quick, guys. So, over the years now, I had a bunch of different dudes come through classes with different kind of competence levels and all that. And I can tell you this. And this is even from the class about 3 weeks ago. Observation is this. We do this drill I call 2-5 drill, which is basically 3 magazines loaded with 7, 8, and 10 rounds for 25 rounds total. You have 5 distinct targets to hit with 2 no-shoot targets. You have 60 seconds to do the drill while you're moving in between the barrels, clockwise and counterclockwise. Static shots not allowed. So we had guys with all kinds of zeros. We had guys with all kinds of red dots. We had guys with guns made by 2 of the best AK makers known in the West. They are on this show right now, Brian and Jim. And the longest distance they shoot that drill is about 14 yards. It goes from 14 to about 3 yards. And I can tell you this, no matter what zeros they had, no matter what gear they used, what ammunition was in there, none of that mattered. But if they did not have skill, how to do things while not being shot, while not being addressed, being in very complex situation where you had to have certain cadence, where you had to hit targets in specific sequencing and all that, you would see the shooters that could punch 3 holes at the size of the quarter from 100, and they would, out of 25 shots, they would have 15 of them off the paper.
It's a good point.
Yeah,
yep.
Shooting and moving is a skill that not a lot of, at least Americans, have even attempted, because majority of the guys that we know, here in Arizona, we have amazing ranges that we can go to, whereas most people are stuck on on the X, and so they never shoot and move.
And I don't think it's only availability of the ranges, man. I will actually blame it partially on in this training industry today is that a lot of dudes, with all due respect, they do come trainers, instructors. They do come from the military backgrounds. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them work within team environments. Movement is not necessarily stressed that much. It's usually teamwork. It's usually element of surprise. It's usually overwhelming firepower and so forth. That's not what civilians going to be dealing with.
Yeah, I thought I could shoot when I was in the Army, and I got out, and I realized real fast.
And if we don't adjust our training, and we teach a team kick the door and 12 super operators doing their shit, versus one guy who wakes up in the middle and his nuts is swinging while he's screaming because he forgot to grab an extra magazine, and now it's time to defend your family. It's a little bit different story.
Yeah. And that being said, I think the majority of you guys do offer training courses, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go around the horn here and let's talk about some of the training courses that you guys offer. We'll start with Sonny.
Oh, me? Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, some of you may know me and my wife, we purchased property here in East Texas. So I have my own training facility in the deep woods of East Texas. We call it aptly a Ford Honey Badger because we don't give a shit. So,
Love you, bro.
At this point, I have a live fire range. God willing, here shortly we're going to start building indoor training facility for force on force and combative training. Courses that I offer, I kind of cut down the number of different classes I teach. I teach 3 different iterations of what I refer to as AK knowledge, or A knowledge, or however you want to say it, AK knowledge. So there's 3 different iterations of that course specifically for the battle rifle. And no, you don't have to bring just AK rifle. You can bring any magazine-fed battle rifle to that class. I also teach pistol courses. I also teach combatives courses. And that's what we do.
And what's your website and where can they get in touch with you?
SonnyPuzikas.com. Pretty simple.
Puzikas.
IKAS.
There you go. Jim, you're in the middle of doing something right now, Secret Squirrelish, but you do offer training courses and build courses. I know build courses are hugely popular. Talk about what you're doing.
Well, I'm only doing private classes now with no more than 1 to 5 people. mainly because I can do a much more extensive class and teach people what they really need to know, and not just push them through like a, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's and they've been very successful. They were doing quite well, and actually, I was doing a class for the last 3 days, and I don't want to talk about that one, but
sure,
I'm just in a different place right now.
Understandable.
The thing is, we only do build classes. I don't teach shooting anymore. I'm too old for that stuff. You got guys like Sonny and other guys out there that are teaching all this stuff, and I don't teach shooting classes anymore. Plus, I'm a Weaver shooter. Nobody cares about that anymore. But no, my build classes are probably the most advanced and the most thorough that you could possibly imagine. And I'm not going to go into detail on that because I'm not really good at promoting myself. I don't really care about that shit. But people that know. If you want to learn how to build it right, come and see me. I know how to do it.
There you go. Shoot me an email, talkingat@gmail.com, and I'll hook you up.
Yeah, let me pump your tires a minute, Jim. Jim has a fantastic class that gives you everything you need to know to really start doing it right, not blow your face off. He's way more giving than he should be with his understanding and knowledge and wisdom on that, and he's really pleasant. Often when you get somebody that's as good as Jim is at building, they get grumpy and cross and impatient with the students. And
fuck, I'm that way all the time.
No, well, maybe that's it. Yeah, okay, so that's Jim's default setting, maybe. But at any rate, he let me get away with so much bullshit in his class, and he was nice the whole way through it. And so, just a really good
And look
teacher.
at what you've done.
There it is. There it is.
Good call.
Yeah.
I love you, brother.
Marco.
Back at you.
Hey, Marco.
Yo.
How about you? I know you're into the training as well.
Well, yeah, I used to run 2 courses out of Chapman, Kansas. We under guises of behind lines. I haven't done those in a long time, and we kind of killed the thing. But I do training in this now only to military personnel and like a full-time National Guard up in Lansing, Michigan, or southeastern Michigan ROTC cadets. And we have at our disposal, we have just about everything from M203 grenade launchers to slant-back Humvee mounted M2, M59 Jeep from Vietnam era with M60, M240, M249, all the standard stuff, and some of the non-standard stuff as well. Anything from AKSUs and the Vitas and the of course all full auto, and then of course the sniper portion of it as well. So that's what we do. We don't I don't offer anything to private or on a commercial basis.
And for our military listeners, how can they get in touch with you?
I guess they can get in touch through you.
There you go. talkinglate@gmail.com, and I'll hook you up with Marco, no doubt. Jeff, are you doing any sort of firearms training or anything like that?
Well, I'm a lifelong student myself. So, at one point I lost my mind and decided to go back to school. So I'm a full-time student right now, as well as my other business endeavors. So I'm juggling a lot of balls. But, we do from time to time. We're getting ready to launch. We've got a system that we've been developing over the last couple of years that we're calling XTAC. It's about the size of a light that goes on the bottom of your pistol or rifle. We've really embraced the airsoft as a training. If you treat it like a toy, then it's a toy. If you treat it like it's a training rifle, it's a training rifle, or rifle or pistol. And this laser system goes on and it downloads to an app on your phone, so you can tell who shot who and when, and it disables it so that you can't go back and say I shot you first or whatever. You can shoot the projectiles through the airsoft if you want, or you can shoot the lasers. It's got a belt, so it'll bite you if a shock belt. so it'll bite you if you get hit. So you've got a little bit of stress inoculation that's there too. So it's more of a lot more of like kind of like what Sonny was talking about and Marco, of like being able to shoot and move at the same time, and trying to bring in that three-dimensional dynamic environment that's going through. We're in the tail end of the release, so we'll be releasing that probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, depending on some of the computer, that we're just working all the bugs out of the apps right now, so that you can shoot. I mean, snipers can shoot from 300 meters away, or you can shoot from, face to face all the way up, because the app geolocates and stuff. So we are doing some of that on the Radiman side. For me personally, like, I'd like nothing better than to like say I'm going to go to Jim's class, and then the next week I'm going to go to Sonny's class, then I'm going to go to Marco's class, then I'm going to go hang out with
You can
Brian.
do that. You can do it.
That's exactly, go hang out with Neil, because like I've found like inevitably people have figured out a bunch of stuff that I haven't, and so for me, I just want to learn,
Yeah.
Good outlook, Jeff, and you're always welcome to come over here, and we'll put you behind some stuff and get that nostalgic feeling out of you.
Thank you.
Same, Jeff. I don't know you. We've never met before, but you've done a lot of stuff, and whatever. If you need, if I can help you with anything, just give me a call.
No, thank you very much. I am like, a lot of people don't know. I at one point, if I had known, I'd have probably chickened out, but I went back, and I'm an accelerated nursing program, and I actually take my last set of finals next week, and so on Tuesday, and it's been super rewarding. It's been a kick in the balls, I'm not gonna lie, at going back to school at 52 years old, with my
I get that.
But it's been phenomenal, and I would encourage everybody. I feel like I feel 10 years younger in some respects. So like, I mean that. I'm a lifelong learner. People ask me like, do you teach classes? And I'm like, yeah, but I'd rather go to a class and learn some more, So
that's a great statement, Jeff, because the minute you think you know it all is when you stop learning. I've seen so many people get into that mode where you should always be a student.
Yeah.
You nailed it, man.
Paul Markle.
And stop learning is when you die. So I'm on a longevity plan.
Neil, I know you've got some things going on in the training realm. Talk about it.
Not really anymore.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I rolled my company up about 2 years ago, and I've been focusing on 3-gun and the competition side of stuff. So I haven't had time between that and work.
Okay, never mind.
Sorry.
All right, so let's give some shit away. So, who's on Instagram right now? Get on Instagram. Get on Facebook. Jim, get your guy to get on Instagram or Facebook. Talking Leads.
What's that?
Get your guy to get on. Who's there with you?
It's not his guy. It's Jared. Yeah.
Oh, Jared. Okay.
Yeah, Jared's here with me. Jared said hi, by the way.
What's up, Jared?
I'm using his phone because I couldn't figure out how to get on your fucking contact without my phone with my phone.
It was a link.
So Jared made it work. So
I want you guys to pick the winners. That's what I'm getting at. So go through the Instagram, go to that post that I did, and I'll pick yours, Marco.
Okay.
We'll pick yours for you.
I think I don't know.
And we're on Facebook and we're on Instagram, so you can pick your favorite question from those. We've got, oh my gosh, we've got all kinds of things to give away here for the season finale. We've got Mission First Tactical. We've got a dump tray, and we've got a $100 gift card to Mission First Tactical. Seal 1, we've got one of their complete Care COP kits to give away. Factory 47, we're going to give away a mug, a Talking Leady AK Korner mug, a t-shirt, and a hoodie. ASP-USA has put up 3 flashlights and 3 $20 gift cards for those 3 winners. And Marco's going to give away one of his books, his new books that he talked about. Anybody else want to give anything away here?
Yeah, we're going to be giving away 3 of our 4-prong flash hider suppressor mount.
What?
In whatever thread the winner desires. We got half 28, 5/8, 24, and 14/1 left.
Nice. I'm one of those winners, by the way.
Now, there you go. Yeah, have I not gotten you one yet? I need to fix myself.
You've got two to give.
What about that 1982 S10 that's been parked on my backyard? I'm just kidding.
That's nice. That's nice. All right. Sonny, are you on social medias?
No, not right now.
Where's your phone? Get your phone. Pull up somebody. Pull up
I'm
a winner.
looking at it. I'm using my phone for this.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
All right. Who's Jeff? Pick a winner.
Okay, let's well, I'm gonna go back to the guy who I'm gonna shamelessly promote myself here.
Oh, I like it.
So it's P-Man301 that asked about if Black Autumn's gonna be made into a series or show or a movie. Gotta make him a winner.
There you go. P-Man. You're going to get, how about the Mission First Tactical dump tray with the AK Korner logo on it. Boom. That's what he wins. So, winners, when we announce your names, you got to shoot me an email, talkinglate@gmail.com. Tell me what you won and give me your contact info, your mailing address, and I'm going to forward it on to our prize provider so that they can get those to you. And if it's a size or something like that, give me your size.
It's talkinglate@gmail.com.
There you go, talkinglate@gmail.com.
Okay. I'm sending that to him right now on IG.
Oh, no. He's got to listen to the show.
Oh, crap.
The only way they win is if they listen. We do not notify them.
Oh,
that's
sorry.
part of being part of the Leadhead Brigade. If you don't listen to the show, you don't win.
Sorry. Party foul.
That's okay. That's okay. You can send him one. That's fine. He'll probably enjoy that. That's like a bonus that he gets. All right. Dump tray down, and that went to who? P-Man.
Yeah, P-Man301.
Got it. All right. Who wants to pick the next winner? Jim?
What am I supposed to do? I don't know how to do this.
Neil, pick a winner. You're muted, by the way. You're muted. Yeah. You got to unmute yourself.
Good thing.
Novice. First timers. First timers on the show. I mean, come on.
I'm so used to Zoom calls at work that I have to mute myself because I've got 6 other things going on. I think it's called Molnir's Might on Instagram.
Okay.
The question was I'm interested in a Recce 8K with LPVO. What's he winning?
How about we give him one of the flashlights and $20 gift cards from ASP?
Sounds good to me.
There you go. Milnor's.
Right?
Thor's hammer, right?
Something like that.
Mjolnir, you mean?
Mjolnir.
Okay. I know how to pronounce that one.
Okay. So are you got a winner? Oh, you're not on there, are you, Marco? So I'm gonna pick.
I don't know anything about those.
You don't know anything about social medias. All right, so I'm gonna pick Marco's winner, and I'm just gonna go on here, and I'm gonna spin it. I'm gonna spin it, and I'm gonna stop it, and it stopped on Sonny Puzikas.
What did I win?
Batteries.
So
What
round
did I
2.
win? I win Marco's book.
So here's the thing. All of you guys, everybody on the show today is going to win a Mission First Tactical dump tray. And we're going to do a special design just for you guys.
Wow.
So everybody here is going to, all our guests, Jim, Jeff, Neil, Marco, Sonny, Brian, David, you going to get one for yourself?
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So David wants to do something special for you guys. So we'll probably put together a little MFT package for all you guys. So yeah, definitely you're going to get a little something for the season finale of the Talking Lead AK Corner.
Actually, I also have a suggestion.
Yes.
For your upcoming shows, maybe for next
Season,
like a new segment.
Season
for
4.
Next season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I feel like, we've fielded some questions, maybe maybe 7 or so, but I'm pretty sure there were a lot more.
Yeah.
And maybe what you can do is you can compile them in just a sheet and stuff, like in one pager, and then email it to all of us and have us all answer it.
Well, there's this thing called social media, Marco, that if you had an account,
although you don't have us on the show, but you can read the answers. From us in your next show, there would be a segment like a respond to the listeners' questions.
You're still in the Soviet Union. Nope.
All right.
But I appreciate the feedback. All right. Next winner.
Sonny's winner.
What's Son? Oh, Son. All right, we got to go for somebody else. All right. Instagram.
It was Instagram. There's the FPS Murdoch.
Yes.
And because Sonny was so animated on this, his question was, I know where Sonny stands on this, but how do the rest of you feel about the AK enhanced safety?
Actually, it was one of those questions we also had a disagreement between the participants, so it's kind of entertaining,
Yeah, it was entertaining. We went for it for a while. So, FPS Murdoch on Instagram.
FPS, so he's the winner of our next prize, which is going to be. How about we give him a AK Korner mug?
I think he drinks coffee. He'll appreciate that.
He'll like that. Yeah. And he attended our class in Nashville, and I think he's attended your classes, Sonny. You know FPS.
I know him.
Yeah, good guy. He's a good guy. So
he's all right.
He's all right. He gets the Factory 47 Talking Letty. All right. I got to mark these off so I know what all we've given. So we're down to 2 of these. So 2 more flashlights. We've got a T-shirt and a hoodie. We've got a Seal 1 kit. Let's do the Seal 1 kit next.
Well, hang on a second. You skipped over me. Am I sending my book to Sonny?
No, let's pick someone else. Marco, I'll buy your book. Let's give it to one of the listeners.
Because, we kind of got off the subject because the book is still on the table.
We got a lot of prizes still on the table.
Listener.
Hey, Marco, can I buy the book directly from you so that
there's only one left, and Brian bought it?
Well, and because Brian bogarted the last one on Amazon, can I get it straight from you?
Maybe y'all could trade books.
That's an idea. You guys need to trade.
You don't have to buy it. I'll just send it to you.
No, man.
Autumn series for the AK-47. Marco's AK-47. I think that's a good trade.
I suspect Marco's got way more valuable information than Black Autumn does. So,
you shut your whore mouth, sir.
I'll email you, Marco. I love reading AK stuff. I definitely want to read that so I can. So,
Jim, pick a number between 1 and 50. You're muted. That's a great facial expression, though.
Who are you asking?
Jim.
47.
47.
Nice number.
That's unexpected.
Funny how that comes up, huh?
Yep.
47. Cody Atherley. You wake up to enemy paratroopers falling from the sky. What do you grab to defend the homeland? I answered my copy of Red Dawn 1984 and play it on all TV streaming channels, movie theaters, drive-in theaters, and gas stations. That was my answer. Take that.
As I always explain to my students, the Red Dawn is the worst sci-fi movie ever made.
Sci-fi. Just because you weren't in it. Because you can't add it to your IMDb credits.
Hold on a second. There's a funny story behind it. When they were making the remake of Red Dawn, the Red Dawn 2, I actually got a call from production team to work with them, and I responded the same way I respond to enhanced safety with fuck no.
I love it. All right, so Cody, you win an ASP-USA flashlight. So you're one of the ASP winners. Email, talkingledgemail.com. All right, next winner. Let's roll these off. Brian, pick a winner.
Let's do Bailey Muller 80, my nerd asking about the AK gas system.
Okay, Bailey Muller.
Yep.
You win the Seal 1 kit. Very nice. All right, who else is on social medias? Pick a winner.
Were there any questions about training at all?
Yeah. Yeah, there were training questions. Yeah.
Because that would be my winner, but what do I know?
That was Zach Archer. His question was, for our gentleman from across the pond, what training techniques would you like to see brought over more to the West that you'd recommend that would be considered out of the norm for us in the United States? And I think, Sonny, you hit that, more shoot and move. Also, I can't wait for this episode, blah, blah, blah. So that's Zach_Archer.
Okay. Let's give him Marco's book.
There you go.
Oh, that lucky dog.
Yeah, Zach Archer. He just got hit. Did he just get his first ODS 1775?
He is one of my customers and a really good dude. Really, really good guy.
Yeah, I met him at Kalash Bash, Texas. Him and Pierce. Yeah. Great dudes. Yeah. Great dudes.
We got another one requesting with a training question. Giddy Up was the guy that was asking about military training that turned out to be silly or ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. Good question. Yeah.
All right. So Zach Archer, or no, who did you say?
Giddy Up.
Giddy Up
also had that training. He ought to get. That's a good question. He or she.
Let's
ought to get some swag for that question.
Let's give Giddy Up one of the flashlights. So that's all 3 flashlights gone from ASP-USA. And if you guys go to my website, talkingled.com, there's a link to ASP there, and you can click on that link, use the code LEADHEAD. You're going to get 15% off your purchase at ASP-USA if you didn't win. All right, so all 3 flashlights are gone. We've got a T-shirt, a hoodie, a $100 gift card, and we're going to let David pick the winner of the $100 gift card, and let's do that now. So, Dave, Hodor, also known as Hodor.
Hey, man.
What's up, brother?
I was muted at your request. I'm using my phone too here, so I'm like on the spot. Can I pick a number?
I'll come back to you.
All right.
I'll come back to you. So let's pick the winner of the T-shirt. And I'm just going to do a little scan through Instagram here. Boom. The T-shirt winner is Clyco47.
Clayco. He's a big.
You know that? You know them?
Yeah. Clay's awesome.
Okay. Yeah, he's a good dude.
All right. So,
Clayco. But I think we should call him Clyco from now on. That has a ring to it.
Clyco. Yeah. Can everyone remember their very first AK and the impression it had on them?
Jesus.
And Clayco,
that
you
was
win.
A good response. Jim.
Clayco, you win the hoodie. You win the hoodie, Clayco. So, oh Jesus, that everybody's response. I like that.
There's a reason I took Jim's build class after I bought a gun from a company whose name I won't repeat. Yeah.
Okay.
Jim's response says it all, I think.
I'll tell you what, Marty. The first AK I had was wasn't really mine, but it was those 2 AKs we tested for SOCOM, and that killed the SR-47 program.
Right.
They were Tricom 56s. They literally looked like they'd been pulled out of a dumpster. They hadn't been cleaned probably ever. All of the finish had gone off of them. And then when we shot them, it completely upended everything that we had thought about AKs, except for reliability. That was true. But everything else we'd proven was complete and total lie. And that was with rat trap AKs. And so, yeah, I remember the first two that I really, it was pretty cool.
Cool.
Is that okay to admit that when I just moved to US, I didn't know nothing about AKs here. So one of the guys that goes like, yeah, my neighbor is selling an AK. I'm like, okay, I'll buy it. You know what did I buy from him?
What?
IO.
Hey, it's a toss up with them. I mean,
Yeah.
I had to rework every one of them, and I have a good
It's a project.
extended experience with IO's AKs.
I still have a PTSD after that one.
Hey, they came with a lifetime warranty.
They didn't live though, did they?
No, there was no life.
Actually,
There was a warranty,
exactly
but there
the
was no
same
life.
time
Like this
last
for a
year.
certain so many rounds.
Same time last year, I bought all of their returns, like 96 of them, with anything from a cracked trunnions to blown out the receivers and stuff. And we wind up putting about 78 guns together,
Oh wow!
like out of them.
Probably got those
So,
dirt cheap
yeah.
too, didn't you?
Yep. So we got them, but yeah, that's it. But hey, they bringing in all this hard to be mad at them. They're bringing all this surplus guns in, including M1s and all kinds of cool stuff. So
All right, next winter we're gonna do the T-shirt from Factory 47, the AK Korner, the one just like I got on right here. Very nice T-shirt. And because I like his name, and we did have a pretty good discussion on this. Tactical Midget 702. Do you guys prefer going over or under when racking? So that was a good question there too. We got a lot of comment on that. So Tactical
Under.
Midget. All
I
right,
think
David.
the preferred moniker is small people now, though.
so little people, yeah.
Am I gonna get shadow banned because I said midget?
Probably.
Probably.
I already am, so fuck it.
You're
Just
by all
call
the
him,
right
just
people.
call him vertically challenged.
David, did you find a winner for our $100 gift card from Mission First Tactical?
I did. I'm going with Joseph Roman on Facebook, who posted a pic of his AK Talking Lead AK Korner armorer's track.
Nice. Joseph Roman on Facebook.
I feel like he needs more MFT in his life.
He does. So there you go. What was his question? He just posted that? He didn't have a question?
He just didn't have a question.
See,
Just
there you
posted
go.
the
You
tray
don't
with
have to have a
some
question.
ammo splashed on
You
it.
just participate. That's all we look for is participation, and you're going to win. So that was the $100 gift card. We've given away the Seal 1. We gave away all the Factory 47 items. We gave away all the ASP items. We gave away Marco's book. And Brian, we need to give away the muzzle devices now. So pick a winner for the first muzzle device for Occam Defense's muzzle device.
Well, you know, the two gents, the life partners over at AR-15 Podcast, I forget their names, but they're awesome. And the AR-15 could do with a little Occam on it. So why don't we throw one of the flash hiders their way?
All right. So that's going to go to, and he actually participated and answered and asked a question. Tandem Dooley.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So Tandem
He
Dooley,
contributes a lot. That's great.
Nick, you know the routine. Shoot me an email and we'll hook you up with one of those muzzle devices.
Hey, let's pick a wild card for number 3.
Do it.
The Joker 6981. No questions here. I already know it's going to be awesome. That's good energy right there.
I like that.
So the Joker 6981.
And he wins a muzzle device?
Yep.
Okay. Are you giving the AR-15 guys 2 of those? One each?
Oh, just because it's them and they don't have to fight over it, we can do that. And we can do 2 to them. And but you guys haven't seen them. They're they're a little bit catty with each other. Yeah, we can do one more. How about
you don't have to.
left side charging handle mods? Have we given that one away yet? Or has he won anything? The Woodsman pilot. Thoughts
I don't
on
know.
left side charging handle?
I don't know. Maybe he wins twice. So what? You want to give him one too?
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
It's their responsibility to get in touch with me and tell me what they won. So I don't keep up with this shit. So there you go. That's. I think that's everything. Unless, was there anything else that you guys wanted to give away? Jeff, you want to give away a book or anything?
Sure. Yeah, we can give away a
Rat's Tourniquet,
some Black Rock books. What do you think? Books?
Hey,
tourniquet?
give someone one of my Beyond the Firearm DVDs.
Beyond the Firearm DVD from Sonny.
Yeah.
So good.
Brian,
Really, really good.
pick a winner.
Let's do the guy you drunk posted, Corey Brown, Corey_Brown_ MKT M4FN
Corey Brown.
apostrophe asterisk double underscore. Yeah. Corey Brown.
Read his question because it's a drunk question.
I have a confession. Well, I'm going to pronounce it as if I'm drunk. I have a confession. I'm inebriated when I'm commenting, but y'all seem to enjoy my comments. LOL. Marco, can you please tell these fascist fucks these fascist fucks in their place again, please? I enjoyed the last air asset question, so I will ask it again to all ex-military. What's your favorite air asset during deployment? Now for Brian Keeney, where are my AK build kits that are U.S. made? There has to be a market for it. It's actually a fairly rational question. So
Yeah,
good job
for
holding your
someone,
liquor,
for someone
sir.
who's lit, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good question. Anybody want to answer him?
Spectre.
Spectre?
Go big or go home. I like it.
I'm torn between Spectres and A10s.
Well, Sukhoi 25, of course. I could be a Hind too. It's a split up.
So I got a funny Hind story, right? So
okay.
We're on the border of Pakistan and Afghanistan, running ambushes, and the Pakis knew we were there. The Pakistanis knew we were there, so they launched a Hind gunship that was flying, because we were right on the border, and it was flying up and down the border, basically to let us know that there was like, we know you're there, you know we're here, but I'll tell you what, you want to have your butthole pucker up is see one of those things fly overhead, and it's like, where's the radio? Call in the fast movers. They've got a Hind here. Ah! And yeah, the Hind is no joke. The Russians did a good job on that one.
Very nice, very nice. All right, so one more. One of Jeff's. We're giving away your book. Is that what it was?
Yeah, let's give away a book.
Pick a winner. Are you on Instagram or Facebook?
Yeah, stand by.
All right, you pick the winner for that, and then
All right.
I think that's all our prizes.
I'm
what
gonna
a
give
finale!
Esoom 87 ESOOM _87.
Yeah,
he's the one that said you wake up to enemy paratroopers falling from the sky.
yeah.
So he's thinking post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
So let's push it over to him.
I like that. Great. So there you go.
Righteous.
Esoom. So all you winners, talkinglate@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. AK Korner season finale. What you won. Your shirt sizes, all that stuff, just in case the prizes encompass that. And I'll forward your info to all these guys.
Founded in 2012, IWI-US is the USA-based subsidiary of Israel Weapon Industries Limited of Ramat Hasharon, Israel. The IWI-US line of products includes the Tavor X95, the Uzi Pro pistol and SMG, the Galil Ace line of firearms, and the belt-fed Negev line of light machine guns. IWI's mission is to bring the highest quality firearms with real world-proven reliability to the U.S. commercial and law enforcement market. IWI-US are proud sponsors of the Talking Lead AK Korner and the Leadhead Brigade. Check us out at www.iwi.us and on social media under IWI-US.
So there you go. What an awesome season finale. And guys, we're making it even better because you know what we're doing? We're doing a holiday giveaway also. And we're giving away a Galil Ace. Can you believe that?
What?
What? A Galil?
Very fine firearm. Very fine. Somebody was...
What were you saying, Brian? I think we got hacked.
He froze.
You froze, Brian.
Yeah, he was saying something and the God was watching.
So here's what we're doing. And I'm going to share my screen because this is just, it's going to get you that excited. So here it is. Do you see my screen? So here it is. The Talking Lead and Friends holiday giveaway. We're giving away an IWI Galil Ace. Lockdown is putting up one of their hideaway shelves, a trigger lock, a puck, which I've got also. You can't see it right now. I'm holding it up. That goes into your safe. It detects the temperature, the humidity, and if somebody's trying to get into your safe, it'll shoot you notifications on your phone. So all that smart technology. And they've got an AR-15 magazine holder there because the Galil that we're giving away is a 5.56 Galil. Hold your comments. Enforce, we're doing one of their weapon-mounted lights. Seal 1 is going to give away one of their complete gun care cleaning kits. Flatline Fiber Co., a rifle sling, and one of their improved dump pouches, which we had Chad on a couple of episodes back talking about the improvements that he's made to the dump pouch, where you can mount it directly under your magazine, real estate on your belt, so it's not taking up additional real estate, and he's got administrative pouches on the inside of it, so you can store things. And then Mission First Tactical, our buddy Dave over at Mission First Tactical, 5 custom magazines. 4 of those are going to be ugly Christmas sweaters, which was my design. Thank you very much. And then the Israeli flag and the American flag on one. You flip it over, and you've got that. You get your choice of a holster and one of their awesome new backpacks that they're giving away. I've got a link in my Instagram, and on my Facebook I've made posts, and then all the people that are participating have links to where you can go. This is a Gleam giveaway. It's one of those where, as you see here, the more you do, the more entries you get. And for listeners of the show, we just added this. The secret code. Okay? And this is for listeners only, because if you don't listen to the show, you're not going to know how to unlock this additional 500 entries. The code is 2A. Capital 2, capital A. Is there a capital in numbers? I don't know. It's the number 2 and a capital A.
Let's just say there is.
That's the secret code. You put that in, you're going to unlock 500 additional entries, which is going to put our listeners above and beyond the people who don't listen. So we reward our listeners here. So that gives you an even better chance to win this awesome package. And one person's going to win all this. So how awesome is that? Not that great, huh? Okay.
Extremely. You said to hold comments.
I thought it was a really good giveaway. But Dave, Mission First Tactical, you've got some more awesome news to drop on the lead heads. Hit us with this.
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know, all listeners know, that we're officially launching our custom division so that they can go to the website and upload their own artwork. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing for all the participants on the show. I'm going to let my creative director and program manager geek out, really dig in and have some fun with the AK artwork for the dump trays we're going to send the guys. And they can do the same thing. happy to print anybody's design. We offer some art services, or just we can use any JPEG, PDF, AI file. Just visit the website and throw your artwork up there.
Is anything off limits?
I would say no, but you'd be surprised some of the artwork that's already been submitted. So we've unfortunately had to say no 1 or 2 times.
Yeah.
We don't like to, but I don't want anybody to get in trouble, and I don't want to get in trouble. So sometimes unfortunately we have to.
There you go. So go to Mission First Tactical, and the holsters, the dump trays, the tactical wallets, the magazines. Even their magazines. I got one right here. They can custom print on the magazines too. So we've got our Leadhead Brigade logo on there. And as Brian pointed out earlier, this is injected into this, so it's not going to scratch off. This isn't coming off of here. Very durable on these magazines. Mission First Tactical 30 round. You got AR-10 magazines? Are you doing those also?
Yes, sir. Yep.
So when are you going to get into the AK magazine business, brother?
It's another one of those on the list.
It's coming.
And you guys want to help out, man. We're ready for some help on that one.
I think the more that you guys inundate them with requests for these magazines, they'll make it happen because they can do it. They got the technology.
So I found a place where you could get custom printed toilet paper made. And so I grabbed an ISIS flag off the internet and I submitted it for quote so that everybody could wipe their ass with the ISIS flag with regularity.
That's awesome.
And they wouldn't build it. And so I got to ask, will you go into the toilet paper business for us?
That's an amazing idea. I would love to wipe my ass with ISIS.
Tactical toilet paper. I got it. All right. So that's all the news there, guys. Unless any of you have any awesome stuff to drop. Let's go around the table. We'll start with Marco. Marco, what do you got coming up?
Nothing really. I mean, take it back. My little company, we've been importing ammunition, and of course we got hit by the ban, but I still hold a license until the December of next year for some of the ammunition. But we've been working on bringing some firearms into U.S. and somebody asked me earlier about the VSS, so I'm not saying much, but just being on the lookout for those. And that's some stuff. And then of course, there's Serbian handguns and Mauser action hunting carbines, some surplus M35 Berettas.
So you're doing a lot of surplus stuff, huh?
Well, some of the surplus and some newly manufactured stuff. So all of that is coming our way probably sometime in the first, second quarter of next year.
We're going to do an episode on surplus weapons next season, so we'll have you on for that.
Yeah, I've been lately, I don't know what I ate something and wind up collecting all kinds of interesting World War II stuff. And me and my son together, actually, and accumulated an extensive collection. So I'll have some interesting stuff to show. And
okay, we'll do a little show and tell with that. Jim, are you with us? You still awake? I see your table over there. Nice bar. I think Jim's asleep. Okay. Jeff, what about you?
I'm here.
Oh, you there? Okay.
On mute. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're on mute. Okay. What do you got coming up, Jim?
Well, our release is probably going to be, we're hoping for February right now for the new rifle, as well as other things. We've been working on a lot of stuff for the last couple of years and it's about to come to fruition now. I don't want to get into too much detail about it because I'm on the road right now, class in a different state, in a different place. Cold as fuck here. I'm dying to get home and get back to work on what I do well.
I hear you, brother. We can't wait for you to get back to doing the shit that you do well.
Well, it's coming. That's all I can say.
It's in the mail. I like it. Yeah. Sonny.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I really don't do much exciting stuff besides training and my new podcast. So that's really it. My training classes, you already dropped the website. People can find it there. My podcast is Gospel of Violence Podcast. And if you like your feelings hurt and your panties in the wad, you want to subscribe. Otherwise, stick to safer things. You know, Joe Rogan and shit like that.
You're so fucking cool.
And that's about it. Training, podcasting, that's what I do. That's it.
How can they find you, get in touch with you, websites, things like that? What you got?
Well, www.sonnypuzikas.com is my main website. That's as far as the training goes. And for the podcast is gospelofviolencepodcast.com.
Gospel of Violence. Love it. I guarantee you got swag and stuff already for all that too, right? You got shirts and hats and...
Not yet, but we will start working on it, and maybe I'll reach out to some of you about stuff.
I know a guy. Get in touch with me.
I've heard about the guy that you know.
Okay. Jeff.
Sorry, I was taking notes. We're just finishing up Blood Spring, so the last book in the Black Autumn series. And then I'm getting ready to focus heavily on our video platform. So I own Full 30, which is YouTube for guns essentially. And now we're in the process of expanding that out. We've rebuilt that thing again, and we're getting ready to open it up to more than just guns. We're opening it up to everything because we're essentially we're sick of the censorship and suppression that's taking place on social media. I've had several of my 100,000+ following places been shut down, and I'm constantly shadow banned on Instagram and whatnot. So
yeah,
it's like, well, all right, we're just going to expand on our own stuff. So that's going to be my new focus, and we're still teaching classes. We've got the XTAC, like I had spoken about earlier, that's going forward, and then I've got some other endeavors that I'm cranking on with a marketing company and whatnot. So yeah, I'm staying busy and going to school
and learning. Are you like doing medicine or something?
Yeah, I'm a full-time student right now in an accelerated nursing program, and so and if, like I think I said before, if I'd known that nurses did as much as they did and had to do as much school, I'd have probably chickened out before I started. But once I started, it was like, well, crap, I got to finish now. So I'm in the final days of that. Like finals are next week. So, but yeah, I'm staying busy. I got my fingers in a bunch of stuff. But the video platform is, I mean, it's timely to looking what's going on in the world, and that's going to be
working with Jared. I know he's been part of that as well. So anything I can do to help out, just keep in touch with me.
Yeah, Jared's been integral into that. I mean, Jared Markle, and just phenomenal individual.
Good. Neil.
Yeah, so I'm not nearly as cool as everybody else on this podcast, but
sure you are.
Professionally, for the shooting community at least, I'm working with some actually of your previous guests over this season, to putting out a lot of information. I just said the same word twice. Regarding informational content on Instagram, to help people get a little leg up and be able to take some of these high-speed classes and go into them with better basics and manipulation drills, so that way they can get more out of what they're there for. So that's on. You can check that out at the Combat Accountant on Instagram. But that's all I really got outside of my personal stuff of competitive shooting.
But you're an accountant that represents pot companies too.
This is correct.
Jim, you need to get to know this guy.
I live down the street from him.
Okay, there you go. He knows the good stuff. So.
Oh yeah.
I'll be emailing you.
Yeah. Let me know what kind of questions you got, and we'll see what I can get for you.
I don't have questions. I just need stuff. All right, Brian.
Well, we're just about through the first production run. We did a small pre-production run of our adjustable gas block. It's borrows, talking about, great art or good artists borrow, great artists steal. We try to steal from the best, based kind of on the SVD, kind of on some of the HK stuff, kind of on the AK-12. It's a 4140 alloy steel body that's nitrided, and then there's a 17.4 stainless aperture cup, and then that has multiple, clicky defined settings, including one that's full off for suppressed shooting. The cup comes out through the front, so if you want to clean it, it's not a big deal. And then the spring, the detent spring, we try to run stuff really hard to make sure you don't have to in terms of testing. And so we put 1,000 rounds through the gun in 45 minutes, got it glowing orange, and we realized the one thing that we needed was an Inconel spring that would work up at 1,100 Fahrenheit, and so we did it. So I think that's emblematic of the stuff we try to put out is heavily tested and carefully conceived. And so those are open for order right now, and they'll be shipping probably 4 to 6 weeks.
So OccamDefense.com, go check them out at Occam Defense. Is it Solutions or just Occam Defense on the
OccamDefense.com, and we've got guns at a bunch of retailers around the country. But we also are building guns right now. Our lead times are pretty good. We're shipping at about 4 to 6 weeks right now. It's kind of like buying a Toyota or a Ford, where you get to pick your trim package and your seat color and your stereo and that kind of thing. So it's not full custom, but we do kind of build to order.
Very cool.
Yep.
And thanks to our other sponsors that made Season 3 such an awesome season. Probably my favorite season so far, and Season 4 is going to be even better. Mission First Tactical. David, thank you so much. Appreciate all the support that you give the show. The codes, the discounts that you give our listeners. Leadhead is the code, 20% off, Mission First Tactical. I don't know if you guys are doing any end of the year deals or anything right now, codes, but that's probably the best one going, isn't it?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yep. Yes, sir. There you go. Seal 1, you use the code LEADHEAD. You're going to get 25% off at Seal 1 for any and all of their CLP cleaning products. Factory 47, use the code LEADHEAD. I try to keep it simple. See a little pattern here? LEADHEAD. 10% off Factory 47. That's our T-shirts. That's our hoodies. That's our leadies. I had one earlier. I don't have it right now. I did a social media live and I had it. You go there and any of their products, not just the AK Korner, but any of the Factory 47 products, and it's all awesome AK-47 based stuff. 1776 for our classic logo stuff. You're going to get 20% off. Use the code TALKINGLEAD at 1776united.com. Occam Lube. Use the code LEADHEAD in all caps. They had to be different at Occam Lube, and you're going to get 10% off at Occam Lube. And
no, you got to yell it. It's all caps. You got to yell it.
Got to yell it.
Yeah.
Leadhead. 10% off. Occam Lube. Flatline Fiber Co. For any of their products at Flatline Fiber Co. Their dump pouches, their slings, these little things that go in your ear pro when you're shooting. Ear pro wraps. You get 10% off. Flatline Fiber Co. Use the code LEADHEAD. 10% off there. And then for the flashlights that we're giving away, ASP-USA, any of their products, you get 15% off. They have the batons. They're famous for the batons, their handcuffs. Any of their products, they're 15% off anything at ASP-USA. You go to Talking Lead's website. There's a link there. You click on that link and use the code LEADHEAD. I have to yell because it's all caps. For 15% off, ASP-USA. So we'll be back with Season 4 next year, Leadheads. I don't know. Maybe we'll kick it off at SHOT Show. Or are you guys going to SHOT Show? Everybody going to SHOT Show this year? Marco, yeah.
I am, yep.
Neil, yeah. Jim, yeah. Jeff, yeah. David? Just got a blank. Hodor's just, yeah. Sonny, you going?
Nope.
Sonny's not going. Fuck SHOT Show. The hell with it.
Exactly.
SHOT Show the year.
We may be there. I haven't locked in a host for the lead quarters yet. We're in talks, so hopefully that'll work out. But until next season, Leadheads, you can still shoot me all your questions, your comments, talkinglead@gmail.com. Any of our guests that we've had on, you want to get in touch with, you've got questions, follow-up questions, they're more than happy if you hit them up on their social medias, their websites. You can email them, or you can come to me, talkinglead@gmail.com. I'll be happy to pass it on to them. But thank you, Marco, for being on, for all the support over the years. You've been on, I think, every season, at least once, since we started this 3 years ago. Sonny, thank you so much for being on. Hope to have you back on again more often now that you've got internet other than dial-up.
You keep talking, I'll switch back to dial-up.
I go longer than Rogan, you know. This is the longest episode ever, and I'm not even going to edit it. It's gonna run just like this. Jim, always a pleasure having you on, brother. Thank you for taking the time. I know that you were doing some very serious stuff there where you're at, but thank you for being on.
Yeah, it was a rough day. Well, actually, we got one more day tomorrow.
Well, anything we can do to lighten it up, that's what we're here for, brother. So appreciate you being on. Definitely look forward to having you back on season 4. Jeff, brother, always a pleasure, man. There's so much that we can talk about with everything that you got going on between the AK Korner and our regular show. I know our listeners, it's a treat to have you on every time.
Thanks for having me. It's always a blast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Neil, you're a new guy. We got to get you on the regular show. We got to hit you with the new guy questions. We got to run you through all that. So we're gonna have Neil back on the regular show, and we're gonna gruel him on the Talking Lead podcast. So Neil, thanks for being on.
Thanks for having me and threatening me with a good time. Let's do it.
Absolutely. And Brian, Occam Defense Solutions. This show would not be possible without you. The last 2 seasons, you've made it possible, bringing not only the support, but the knowledge, the hooking us up with all these amazing people like Neil. I don't know what it is with you and people named Neil or Niels, but
it's a Scandinavian thing.
Scandinavian. I'm starting to see a pattern here. So really appreciate it and looking forward to doing season 4 with you, brother.
Yeah, likewise. And thank you to all our guests today. This was a really fun treat. It's a hard time in this country right now, and this was more fun than I've had in a really long time. So thank you all very much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Leadheads, until season 4 next year, have a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah. What are the other things that people celebrate during this time of year? I don't know. All that.
Best of us. Yeah.
Best of us for the rest of us. Absolutely. We'll see you then, Leadheads.
Thanks, Brian.
Perfect. That's perfect. God.
Yeah, seriously, guys, epic talk. It was really fun listening to you guys.
Outtakes.
I'm going to go grab my drink while you're checking that. I'll be right back.
So together mode has been enabled for this call.
Yeah, I think that together mode is that weird amphitheater thing that shows up. Yeah. Oh, now we're on a plane.
I did that. I think I did that. Unless somebody else claims.
That's excellent. I got to switch over to Together View to see what Marco did here.
This is great.
But
holy shit! That's totally what we got to keep. This is amazing.
But I'm still not seeing anyone anyway. So,
weird. Well, we look like we're about 5 years old, sitting in an airplane in the big. There.
Shoot, man.
Marty, I want to make a sincere request that we leave this the mode for the video.
What mode are you in?
Marco changed it over to we're snakes on a plane, except we're all 8 years old midgets in the seats. I dig the shit out of it.
Okay. Well, I'm just seeing the grid view on my end. So.
Okay. Well, you can be the grown-up in the room. That's okay.
You know that's not going to happen. Did your video come back on, Marco?
Holy shit!
Now what happened?
I did that again, but I still have not seen it.
What do you do
I'll
now?
try and take some screenshots here and message them to you because this is priceless.